Hi friends, I'm Katie Brinkley and you're listening to Rocky Mountain Marketing. With nearly 2 decades helping business owners, consultants, and coaches with their digital marketing, I know that social media can be an incredible tool to grow your business when you know how to do it the right way. And that's what we're going to do today. I teach you how to navigate the world of entrepreneurship and digital marketing, and hopefully you'll grow your business with a few great tips you wouldn't have known otherwise, and maybe even discover a great local business you love. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I am really excited for my guest today. He has been speaking on stages all over the world, and we're going to dive into some SEO. Yes, those 3 little words can turn a lot of people's faces very, very red because it is necessary in the world of digital marketing. And we're going to dive into all the different SEOs. My guest today is Atiba de Souza, and he and his team have built a $10 million system that allowed the EPA to easily search their data agency wide. And after almost 10 years in the government sector, he turned to the private sector and specializes in the SEO field. So we are in for a treat. Atiba, you spoke at Traffic and Conversions in 2022. You spoke in Germany at the Affiliate Summit. I mean, the list goes on, and 2023 is just going to bring even more opportunities. I can feel it. And the first one right here is with me. So thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today.
Well, let me just say, it is an absolute pleasure to be here with you. Been looking forward to this. We did our pre-interview and I just loved our energy and our connection. And so super, super glad to be back with you and to share with your audience too. Let's have some fun, y'all.
And you're located in the Washington, D.C. area. And I love it when you cross all the mountain ranges to join me and my listeners here on Rocky Mountain Marketing. But so you started in the government world, and I guess let's just start with your story of entrepreneurship before we dive into SEO. It can be hard to leave the corporate world. You got the healthcare, you got all of the paid vacations. For me, I was kind of thrown into the world of entrepreneurship when my position was eliminated. But what made you decide to leave the corporate world and venture into the world of entrepreneurship?
So, point of clarity, in fact, I actually never was in the corporate world. I was a consultant to the government building system. So I've always been an entrepreneur.
Oh, man. It's in your blood.
It's in the blood. It's all I know. I started my first business when I was 17. And literally, it's all I know. I've spent 2 years of my entire life working for someone else.
Oh, man.
So it truly is all I know.
Well, and I think that it's one of those things too, Atiba, where it does seem now that I've been an entrepreneur for the past 6 years, I can't imagine going back into the corporate world. But let's just talk about your journey. You were a consultant. What have you always just been drawn to the world of SEO? And I mean, honestly, for me, that sounds makes my stomach churn because SEO, I know it's so important, but it's oh man, I can't imagine thinking about that all day.
So here's the beauty. And I'm so glad that you said that. And that's why I said when I started, let's have some fun, because most people hear those 3 letters and it makes your stomach turn and it makes you go, you might rather have a root canal than talk about SEO for your website or for your business. And you're just what is this? It's just nebulous. Yeah, I get it. So let's kind of break it down a bit. And let me go back. So number one, I started in the SEO industry in 1996, long before people even knew what SEO was. In 1996, me and 2 friends, we wrote our very first search engine. 96, we had a search engine online. That's the business that we then turned into doing government contracting and building search systems for the government like the one we built for the EPA, right? It was all about searching data and being able to find, they needed to find data. They needed SEO. That's all SEO is I need information. How do I find it? Okay. And so I've been around in this industry for a very, very, very long time, from the inside, and now from the marketing side as well. So the inside of the computer is what I mean, and actual hardcore coding, and now the marketing side, which kind of has put me in a unique position to be able to understand both sides.
Well, and I think that too, Atiba, with this, even social media platforms are utilizing SEO in the captions. Yeah. I mean, SEO is everywhere. And whether it's, SEO in an Instagram caption, SEO on your website with the blog, utilizing SEO through your podcast, it is an incredibly important part. So let's just start our conversation there with why you need to pay attention to what you are putting online.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a really great question of why you need to pay attention to what you're putting online. And we can look at that in a bunch of different ways. I was having a conversation earlier today with someone just about this exactly. And most of us, when we consider creating content, if we ever consider creating content, we start to consider, what do I want to talk about? What's interesting? What should I say? And then you create content, whether that's written content, whether that's a podcast, whether that's a vodcast, whether that's actual video going on YouTube, whatever it is. And we think about, what is it that I want to say? And then we say it. Now, basic logic tells you, okay, that makes sense. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I want to talk about. I talked about it. And I can write about it. I can whatever. I can create content around it. Sounds brilliant. Until you consider who's actually consuming that content. Because once you consider who's consuming the content, you then have to ask another question. And that is, what do they want to consume? So when you ask the question about, why is it important to consider what we put online? Because number one, if you're only putting content online that you care about and your customers don't care about it, guess what? Your customers don't care about it. If your customers aren't going to care about the content you're putting online, then there is no search platform, whether that, as you so rightly said, whether it's a social search platform, whether it's Google, whether it's Yahoo, there is no search platform that's going to care about it. Because ultimately, every platform wants to do the same thing. They want to give their user relevant information that they want to consume. So if you create content that nobody wants to consume, there's no way you can win at SEO.
Exactly. And I think that that's such a good point, Atiba, because I can talk till I'm blue in the face about how, utilizing a social media strategy, blah, 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 blah. However, if my audience is saying like, look, Katie, I just want to know why my Instagram reach is down and what I've been posting reels. I've been doing all the things. Why is it down? And that's where you have to be able to know exactly who it is that you are talking to and what their problems are. So with that, how do we know what our customers, our clients' problems are? How can we figure out what it is that they're struggling with so we can write the SEO, so we can produce the content that it's going to help us show up in their feeds and on their Google searches?
So that's a great question. And in order to answer that question and finish the last one, I want to go up a level, if that's okay. Can we go up a level? Right? I hope y'all are having fun, right? I hope this is your stomach isn't turning yet. Okay? Because at the end of the day, whether somebody comes to you and they're talking about, my Instagram reach is down or the traffic on my website is down, whatever it is, we're always talking about traffic. That's what we all want as business owners. We want some sort of traffic. On whatever platform, we want traffic. So when we talk about traffic, there are three things that we have to understand when we're talking about traffic. And I call these the keys to traffic. Matter of fact, I have a website, Traffic Keys. How about that? Okay. But 3 keys to traffic. Number 1, being absolutely obsessed with your audience. You got to know your audience better than they know themselves. be obsessed with them. Number one. Number two, you must have a content strategy. And then number three is the SEO for whatever platform you're on. But if you focus on the SEO without the first two, which is exactly what we're saying right now, you're wasting your time. So now let's get into answering the question. Now we went up, let's come back down a little bit. Being obsessed with your audience starts with, number one, talking to them. You have customers, you want to talk with them. You want to interview them. You want to know who they are. Because what you're trying to figure out is what motivated you to action. What motivated you to action? Because what motivated them to action is what also led them to you. What happened? What's the sequence? What were the problems that you were having? What pain were you in? Now, once you understand that, then you start to ask this question. What questions did you ask when you were having those problems, when you were having that pain, when you were ready to take action? What questions did you ask? The answer to that, my friends, informs your content strategy. See, it's not, we said it before, it's not about you talking about whatever you want to talk about. If you can figure out, if you can have those conversations with your clients and you can figure out exactly the questions that they were asking and then answer those questions. I just want you to stop and think about that for a moment. Answer those questions. Then the next person looking for that answer will find you. Then the search engines, now let's talk about SEO, will realize you're creating content that people actually want. And they're going to want to reward you. Absolutely want to reward you. And they'll do that by showing your content to more people.
I love that. And it's so funny that you say that, because there's one blog post that I did back in 2020. And I mean, it's a good blog post. It is my number one traffic generator to my website. And I feel like I've written way better blogs since that blog post came out. But it is always turning website traffic or Google searches to my website. And it really is one of those things where look at what you've created in the past. What has generated traffic for you in the past? And how can you replicate that? How can you continue building off of that? Because if that one blog post generates, 150 clicks for me a month, and it's from 2020, then I need to figure out how I can continue producing that type of content. And I mean, it goes that way even on social media. So, YouTube is a search engine. And, for those who are watching this episode, and not listening to it in their car or cruising along, listening to us, but are actually watching us, YouTube also is a search engine. Yep. And how talk to us a little bit about that and the video SEO.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm going to take you up for a moment. Is that okay? All right. And you said it earlier. And so I want to echo what you said, that every social platform is now a search engine. And what's interesting about that statement was it wasn't true a year ago, because a year ago, TikTok was an entertainment platform and didn't care about search. In 2022, TikTok has said, we want to become a search engine. Now, here's why they said that. And here's why every platform is a search engine. Because humans are innately designed to search. It's in our makeup. It's what we do. We've done it for all time, and we will continue doing it. That's why search is so important. Now, as we start to transition and talk about video SEO, and specifically with YouTube, what you have with YouTube is an opportunity that, number one, doesn't come along very often. Okay. And it's here right now. It's here right now. And you still have the opportunity to get ahead of this and actually make major waves for your business. And here's the opportunity. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. Google is the number 1 search engine in the world. And Google owns YouTube, if you didn't know that already. Okay, so Google ecosystem is number one and number two in search in the world. Okay, that's not the opportunity though. Here's where the opportunity starts to come in. In 2021, Google said, we're going to reclassify 60% of our search inventory to be video first. In other words, we want to show a video before written content for 60% of the keywords in our inventory. Now, if they own YouTube, which is a video platform, where do you think they want to get the videos from? Yes, they want them from YouTube. Duh, right? Now you're saying, okay, great, Atiba, but where's the opportunity? Here's the opportunity. When Google said that, they also knew that at the moment that they made that classification, only 22% of their database actually had videos that Google was willing to rank on page 1. Think about that. So they said, we want video. We don't have video. That means in your industry, they want video. They don't have video. What happens if you create it? You've been struggling for how long, which is why your stomach hurts about SEO, trying to figure out how to get on page 1. Everybody told you, get on page 1, get on page 1. Guess what? Guess what? Google just gave you a mulligan, an absolute mulligan, and said, hey, I know what you've been doing with the written stuff. Come create some video for us. We want to put that on page 1 for you. The question is, are you going to miss this opportunity? Now, Katie, before you ask, I'm going to answer the next question, which is, okay, so how do we do it? Okay. How do we do it? How do we do it, dude? Go back to that content strategy. Find the questions that people want answered and answer them. Find the questions that people want answered and answer them. Or if you're in Katie's situation, you have a blog post that's been rocking it for 2, almost 3 years now. Figure out the questions that blog post is answering, that people are asking, and create video from it. Once you create that video, follow me. Once you create that video, the title of your video is going to be the question that you are answering. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't paraphrase it. Don't change it around because you feel it's grammatically incorrect. Answer the question the way customers ask the question. Number 2, you're going to put that same question in the first 2 sentences of the description of that YouTube video. Number 2. Number 3, you're going to transcribe the video and upload the transcription of said video. Number 4, this is one that people miss all the time. You're going to say the question in the video. Yeah. Repeat the question multiple times in the video. Now you're going to ask, is that it? Is that it? That's all I have to do? So I've got a friend who heard me say this at an event a few weeks ago. And actually it was more than a few weeks. It was 6 weeks ago now that I said this. And I then saw him 2 weeks later and he came up to me and he said, dude, I took your advice. I did exactly those things that you said. And I posted a video on Monday, and on Tuesday, it was ranked number 4 in Google on Tuesday. He sent me a message 2 days ago. He said, dude, I did it again. I did it again. I posted a video and 3 hours later, it was number 1 on Google. He's got a channel with 150 subscribers. He's not some big shot. He's just like you.
And I think that with that, it makes me realize, want to go back through all my YouTubes and make sure that they are optimized. How can we make sure that when we're creating content, There's a lot of different tools that I'll use. I know Answer the Public is a very popular one. Yep. Pinterest is a great spot to go to find questions. How do you, are there any social listening tools that you are at the top of your list when you're trying to create content to answer your clients' questions? I also utilize Instagram stories. Instagram stories is a great spot to ask your already warm audience, what they're struggling with and what questions they have.
Yes. So I'm glad you asked that. And we love Answer the Public here. We use Answer the Public, right? Answer the Public, though, if you've never seen it, might be overwhelming to you. And I get that. And you may go there and you may say, oh my gosh, what am I looking at? And your stomach may start to hurt again. And I get that. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I've got a free. Anybody like free? I know you like free. Raise your hand. I know you're driving, but go ahead. Give me a finger up because I know you like free, right? I've got a free solution for you that is foolproof and 100% accurate. Can I make you a better guarantee than that? Y'all ready for it? Here it comes. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you sell. I want you to think about your industry, think about what you sell, and boil it down into 2 to 3 words. Okay? Chicago home inspector. If that's what you do. Whatever it is, boil it down into 3 words. Maximum 3 words. Then I want you to open a web browser and go to this website. Google.com and hit enter. Google is going to load. Okay. It's this website. It's going to load. It's going to have a search box on it. In that search box, you're going to type in those words that you just decided described who you are. You're going to type those in. And then there's a button that says search. You're going to press that button. You're going to press the button. It's important that you press the button that says search. After that happens in nanoseconds, Google's going to bring back a whole bunch of results to you. It's going to show you a bunch of stuff on the screen. At the top, there may be some ads, depending on the industry that you're in, some sponsored listings. Depending on if you're a localized business, there may be some map listings next. There may be an organic listing in there as well. And then somewhere right about a third of the way down the page, there's going to be a section, and it's called People Also Asked. People Also Asked. Now, People Also Asked is a very, very curious section of the Google search. This is the section of the Google search that says, hey, people who typed in those words that you just typed in, they also asked these particular questions. So these aren't fictitious questions. These are real questions that real people asked. And Google's giving you the answer right there. You're going to take those questions and you're going to look at them and you're going to say, okay, which ones of these questions is my customer actually going to ask? Because some of them will and some of them won't. Okay, depending. So what you're doing there is looking at the intent behind why someone asked that question. If your ideal customer would have asked that question, ding, 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 that's then, my friend, a question that you should create a video out of. Oh, but wait, there's more. There's more. It gets even better. It gets even better. Because what I want you to do next is take that question and put the question into the Google search. And then Google's going to tell you people who asked this question, they also asked these other questions too. OMG. They're going to give you the answer.
And it's always changing. I mean, based on what people are searching, Google is always going to update those answers. I love that. And so, and you talked about this earlier, and I know we're kind of coming up towards the end of the show here, but So we might not have too much time to elaborate on this. But you said before, back in 2020 and 2021, TikTok was entertainment. Mm-hmm. I remember, honestly, I remember back when it was Musical.ly, and my daughter's, not my daughter's, my friend's daughter, who was maybe 10 at the time. I remember we all went out to lunch, and after we got done eating, her sister was like, "Mom, can I have your phone? I want to do some Musical.lys." And she was over by this tree. It was warm. It was summer. She was over by this tree, like dancing. And I was like, "What is she doing?" And she's like, "Oh, it's this app. It's like social." I was like, "Oh, what? It's videos?" Okay. And she's like, "Yeah, they just all do the same dance and like share it together." Who would have thought that, that would become the behemoth that it is today? But even TikTok utilizes SEO now. How can we make sure that if you're a TikTok user, how can we make sure that we're creating that short form content that is going to be found in search?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm going to answer this question in two ways. Okay. Number one here's what I'm going to say. Number one, the thing that I always care about is ranking in Google search. The reason why I always care about ranking in Google search is because Google is the only intent-based search engine that you can get data out of. What I mean by that is you can figure out why someone searched in Google. Google will give you that data. So you know that they actually were looking for you or what you want. So I always want to figure out how we can get content to rank inside of Google search, because then we can drive intent-based views which convert. And let's face it, none of us are here to just dance on camera. We're here to make money. Okay? So that being said, I always want stuff to rank on Google. We're currently working on an algorithm to get TikTok videos to rank on page 1 of Google, because just about 3 months ago, Google decided, okay, TikTok, you want to be a search engine? Cool. Go ahead. Be a search engine. Because all of your information is in the public domain anyway, we're just going to suck all of your content in. So Google is now ranking TikTok videos on page 1. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. That is a major opportunity. And it's a major opportunity because you can create a YouTube video, you can create a YouTube short, and you can create a TikTok video, all of which you can get to rank on page 1 for the same topic. It's called page 1 domination. It's called dominating page 1. When your prospects see you, all they'll see is you. Okay? So that's one side of it. And what we're working on right now is still in beta. Give me till February of 23, and we're going to have this answer figured out. Okay. The next side is the SEO side of TikTok itself. And the SEO side of TikTok itself really all comes down to the hashtags and then the caption that you write. One of the best things that TikTok did this year was they expanded the length of the captions, right? Because TikTok used to be like Twitter when Twitter started, short captions. Now they've gone all the way up to 2,000 characters in their captions, allowing you to write a mini blog of content there that has SEO value. Again, it's not about you and it's about them. What are they going to be searching for? What are the questions they are going to be asking? That's what you need to put inside the caption, not what you think.
I think that too, that is one of the biggest changes, that it's what you're talking about is a mindset shift. What you're showing up, serving your customers first, not answering the question. And it might be a question that you have to answer all the time. If you're having to answer the question all the time, a lot of people have this question. You need to find ways to continue answering that question for people, because you are going to be found in search more, whether it's social, whether it's YouTube, whether it's through a blog post on your website. Finding ways to show up and answer that question time and time again is what's going to help you become that authority and that go-to resource for all of your clients, all of your customers.
Yes.
Atiba, this has been an amazing conversation. I love all the tips that you shared. where can we connect with you further? Where can we learn more about what it is that you do?
Absolutely. So here's the deal, guys. I want to talk to you. I want to connect with you. Okay. Me and you, one-on-one. So what I want you to do is go to meetatiba.com. That's meet, A-T-I, B as in boy, A.com. That's my first name. Okay. Once you go there, that's going to take you directly to my LinkedIn. Once you get to LinkedIn, connect with me and then send me a message. Let's chat. I want to talk to you one-on-one.
Well, that was awesome. This has been a great episode, Atiba. And hopefully everyone who's listening can take the opportunity to sit down and look at what they've been doing with their social media, what they've been doing on YouTube, what's been working. If you haven't looked to see what type of content you're getting the most website traffic from, take the time to sit and look at it and start creating content that is going to knock your company's SEO out of the park. Thanks again for joining me today. For those of you that are interested in building more business, I invite you all to Social Profit Lab, which is going to be February 21st through 24th, 2023. I've brought together over 40 speakers, giving you the insights and the education into that one small thing in your business that could have massive results. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Make sure to subscribe so that you can continue navigating the world of entrepreneurship. And I'd love to hear from you. Please leave the show a review and connect with me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at @IamKatieBrinkley or connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you're ready to start making some sales on social media, be sure to grab my free guide to selling in the DMs without being spammy. You can get that at katiebrinkley.com. Let's keep taking your marketing to all new heights.